Yep.
Call this meeting to order. You would join me with pledge allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did you see that Logan got to carve a pumpkin today?
Yeah.
Callahan,
Here.
Rodriguez,
Here.
Hill,
Here.
Stark,
Here.
Hurst,
Here.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Thank you. To approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second. Motion and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We are down to public comment. Is there anyone here that's?
Uh-oh, Amy's in there.
Amy,
Corkery.
why?
There's somebody on your phone.
Dumb.
Somebody coming from the phone.
Yes, I muted them. If they want to be, to speak, they have to, let me know, so we don't have that background.
Yeah. So there's no one here in the building? Is there anybody that's on the phone conversation that's wanting to speak for public comment? I'm gonna go. Okay, I don't see anybody that's responding to that, so we will move onward, and next is an open office. Maybe just travel down this way.
Just wanted to introduce you guys to Chad Freeman. He's a longtime resident. He is our new reserve officer. So tonight begins with him being sworn in. From there, he'll be able to move forward and start completing the training and modules that he'll pay for on his own. Once he's fully trained as to that, we'll reimburse him for that, and then we'll start him on the department, going through an FTO process that takes a year or more before he'll be allowed to be on the street. So we're just getting that process started, and if you want to say anything or introduce yourself, feel free.
Chad Freeman, I'm a 911 dispatcher already, so I'm familiar with the guys. And do it like on the other side of the radio.
Worked for the sheriff's office as a dispatcher. How long have you been there?
It's about 4 years.
4 years.
And your second generation reserve also?
Yeah, Dad and Grandpa both were way back.
Third generation, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how close or where we need to stand here. I'm going to hand it this so you can follow me, but, if you just follow repeat what I say, that's fine. Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
Chad Freeman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of the position of reserve officer
discharge all the duties of the position of reserve officer
in the city of Independence,
in the City of Independence,
as now and hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter as required by law.
Thank you. You're gonna need to sign all three of these, but I didn't know if you would have a pen of your own. So do you want a photo on here? You want one of him signing, or?
No.
Need a picture here. So if you want to hold on one side of that, look at John.
Turn around.
Oh, you can't read it from there, can you?
I like your other idea.
There you go. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations,
Joe is sort of into Brand or given to Brian.
Yeah.
Fun to do that, because I've known Chad since he was a little kid.
Yep.
Hey, Grandpa, Dad. Okay. Next, Bob had asked me a couple of weeks ago, or sent me an email about, a program called Character Matters. And last week was actually the official week for Character Matters Week. People celebrate. But because our meetings are only twice a month, this is after the fact. I want to read this with my breath. And then make a couple comments afterwards. Whereas young people will be the stewards of our community, nation, and world in criminal times and the present and future, well-being of our society requires an involved, caring citizenry with good character. Whereas concerns about the character training of children have taken on a new sense of urgency as violence by and against youth threatens the physical and psychological well-being of the nation. Whereas more than ever, children need strong and constructive guidance from their families and their communities, including schools, youth organizations, religious institutions, and civic groups. Whereas the character of a nation is only as strong as the character of its individual citizens, and the public good benefits when young people learn that good character counts in personal relationships, in school, and in the workplace. Whereas scholar and educators agree that people do not automatically develop good character, and therefore conscientious efforts must be made by youth influencing institutions and individuals to help young people develop the essential traits and characteristics that comprise good character. Whereas character development is first and foremost an obligation of families, so efforts by faith communities, schools, youth, and civic and human service organizations also play a very important role in supporting family efforts by fostering and promoting good character. Whereas in July 1992, the Aspen Declaration was written by an eminent group of educators, youth leaders, and ethics scholars for the purpose of articulating a coherent framework for character education, appropriate to a diverse and pluralistic society. Whereas the Aspen Declaration states that effective character education is based on core ethical values from which form the foundation of democracy society: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. And these six pillars of character transcend cultural, religious, and social economic differences. Whereas the Aspen Declaration states that the character and conduct of our youth reflect the character and conduct of society. Therefore, every adult has the responsibility to teach and model the core ethical values, and every school, social institution has the responsibility to promote and develop a good character. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Independence hereby endorses the 6 pillars of character and urges all city employees to seek out opportunities to incorporate these core ethical values into their work with young people in park and recreation activities, child care programs, community events, and intern and employee training, and encourages all citizens, corporate and individuals, to model these traits of good character in an ongoing commitment to promote character development and ethical behavior in the youth of our community. And further declares Independence as a character counts community and calls on the people of Independence and interested groups to embrace race these 6 pillars of character, signed dated 26th of October. I did my research for this after I'd gotten Bob's email. I did talk to Mr. Hubby at the high school, and they in their program of the Mustang Way utilize 4 of those pillars: be responsible, be respectful, show kindness, and live gratefully. This program started back in, what date was 92, but in 2019, the Governor Robert Z. Ray Center at Drake University in Des Moines actually took over this mission of character counts, and that's where you can get on the website and look into that and get more information. They have a lot of materials, help with different things. I already marked my calendar for the 3rd week of October for next year, so that maybe we can actually have an activity for that week next year. If we won't have COVID by then, I hope. So, moving on.
I'd just like to thank the mayor for doing that. I got on their mailing list, I think it was last year. They had training sessions all over the state, and I did attend one of those put on by the Robert and Billy Ray Foundation. Very good meeting on character, how to talk to each other civilly. I thought it was really something that in today's society, we've kind of lost track of talking to people in a civil manner. So if you ever get a chance to attend one of those sessions, it was one evening and it was very, very useful, very worthwhile. They have a lot of programs for families. If you go to the website and you want to work with your children on developing how to treat other people with dignity and respect and those types of things, they have a lot of materials for families on the website. Thank you.
Thanks for adding that. I appreciate it. Next on the agenda is the motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the minutes of the October 12th, 2020 regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on our agenda is a motion to approve claims for payment. So moved.
Second, I had one question about that, though, the Black Hawk environmental tax for the street at 14,000.
That's the underground storage tank removal project across from the library. And that is reimbursed, it's 100% reimbursement through DNR right now.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And how long would it take us to get that reimbursement, do you know?
It takes about 60 days, or has been taking up to 60 days. We talked to the DNR, it's been sent on to the state treasurer's office, so we know it's in process. We're waiting on it.
Thanks.
I do have a motion and a second to approve claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. On the agenda is the building inspector's report.
Hello, everyone. Just here to clarify a little bit as we ended up the mowing season, heading into the shoveling season. So we just ended up with a total of 13 this year. 2 properties were kind of a hot spot, habitual violators. Every single one of these are vacant properties, so. I think one of the questions is why was done more than the other. The biggest thing is, one is more like a sandy loam, the other one's a black dirt, and the sun versus shade, all that. So basically, it just one was needed much more than the other. So I don't want to hit them when it's right at 8 inches. I try to give them as much leniency as possible. This one never got to another stage where, I mean, you can obviously see that I always went back to it, but the other one that I hit 5 times, I mean, every time I went by, it'd be 12 to 14 to 16 inches. Weeds in the back would be, this high, so that's why one was more than the other. If you have any questions, yeah, honestly, every last one of these were vacant properties. The only, so that biggest one is the USDA one. And that's a very tough one to get a hold of. They've transferred, basically you call one, they transfer to another in Waverly, then they transfer to another one. So I've left message for 3 different people, and they just don't mind having a vacant house there, I guess.
That one you only moved, what, 2 or 3 times now?
3 times. Yep, and the other one was 5. And then the other ones were just 1 time, so. And let's see, the first one, we hit it both the same day. So I would go around and check them all the same days. If it needed it, then I got it. So a lot of them, like the one that was been hit, 5 times, that one is on a constant pattern, because that thing is just, it's on top of the hill, not really much around it, so it was growing like crazy.
Todd, are these out-of-town landlords or?
Actually, we have some, so one of them's USDA, that's one I can't get a hold of, really. I mean, you just get pushed to different people. And, the other one was, they were in town there. I left multiple messages. The boyfriend, I guess, was sneaking inside of the house after he was kicked out. And, I mean, it was just a sticky thing, and no one ever took care of anything. I mean, I actually took their garbage out for him because it was just all over the place. So, just leave a perfectly good house like that. The other one, they actually got foreclosure, and another one, a gal, she thought she had somebody to mow it for her, and they never did it the whole entire summer. She never got a hold of them, so she just had us do it one time. And then somebody took over from there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you have any questions about that, just let me know.
Thanks, man.
Next report will be shoveling, so.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Thank you, Todd.
You bet.
Our agenda is a special event request from the Chamber of Commerce, so I'll ask Nikki to come forward. Hold the mic down.
Is that better? Okay, so I am here tonight to ask for permission to shut down, First Street from Third Avenue Northeast, or Third Avenue, across the bridge, and Second Avenue Northeast on December 4th. I put December 5th first, and people asked me if it was really Saturday. December 4th from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. closing one.
Gonna be a little smaller this year.
It's gonna be a little smaller this year. All of our activities will be outside, so we will not have, like the face painting that was inside, or the coloring, or, the library typically did something in the dance studio. We will have Santa Claus, but Santa will actually be, coming from the North Pole, and he will be in the window at Minnie Frank's. And if you've ever been inside Minnie Frank's during St. Main, Independence Line Power has a custom-built, phone booth that they hook up, and kids can come in and call the, North Pole and talk to the elves. So this year, the phone booth will be outside. There will be an elf there cleaning the phone in between kids, and they will actually get to call inside and talk to Santa. So it'll be a little different. There'll be some glass between them. We do have, tentatively, we do have the, horse and carriages booked. We will not be doing the large one, what they call the people mover that puts 12 to 15 people in it. We'll just have the 2 carriages that fit about 4 people, 4 to 5 people if you have a child sitting on your lap or whatever. We would like to decorate down in the Veterans Park area a little more than we did last year, so that could be another attraction. Just some outside stuff. We don't have everything set in stone. The Boy Scouts would like to come in and maybe do like a popcorn fundraiser or something, some kind of fundraiser. So we're hoping to do something. Like I said, everything that we're going to be doing will be outside, nothing, except our store owners will have their stores open. So that will be a come in and shop at your own leisure if you choose to, but if not, all of the activities will be outside.
Are you still gonna try and get something in that small park across the mill?
Yes.
For pictures?
So, I'm a big Pinterest person, so some community in Illinois has done a big, it's it's almost like a photo opportunity. They built a big frame that said, you know, like Christmas 2020 on it, had some presents and stuff in front of it, so we would put that up. Hopefully be able to leave that up all season where families, anybody could come, take their picture with their cell phone, anything like that. I know the retailers, since the tree will be moving down to the park, Brimmer Park, I can't keep track of all of them, down to Brimmer Park, then the retailers would like to do a little bit of decorating up in the little area up here. I'm not sure what that park is called, just right here on the corner.
From the bank, yeah.
Yeah, was it, you look like you were gonna say.
I'm not sure, what's that park called?
So that, they would like to put something up like, Merry Christmas from Shop Historic Independence, something to that effect. So, yes,
That way the traffic will see that on 150.
yes,
Around
yes.
the holidays.
They were very concerned about that. So, about having something welcoming for people when they're driving through town.
We will be putting our tree up in Bremer Park and doing the lighting of the Christmas trees at the beginning of your event, I'm assuming, or?
Well, actually, today I got a call from Roger Barloon, at the school, and since the band was supposed to go to Disney this year for their band trip, the band and the choir, they won't be going. So he contacted me to see if we would have maybe the jazz ensemble and the choir be able to come and sing or play music. They do a whole Christmas show for what they would have done at Disney. So he called to see if that was something that the students could come and do, and I thought that would be great for them to come.
So will they do that out in the street or in that park around the
Well, I
tree,
had
or-
said, you know, it would be good if they could come and do a little bit of at the tree lighting and maybe even stay in that area. People walking back and forth, could listen, or maybe we'll have them move down to Veterans Park and they could play while the, horses and carriages are coming through. We're really kind of hoping that Veterans Park will be decorated to the point where people can kind of walk through it. That's kind of our, and to be able to keep that up for the whole holiday season. We had a lot of people that really liked what we did through there last year and asked, oh, are you gonna add on to that? So it would be nice to be able to do that too.
You're not gonna have the music like you had last year then?
We had the band 2 years ago. Juan played music for us last year, right, Juan? And depending on what you'd say today, I'm gonna ask Juan if he'll be our DJ again for the 4th. So,
Put him on the spot.
yes, yeah, put him on the spot, so, yeah. Kind of, I mean, pretty downplayed compared to, I do know, Owine is still having theirs. I have been talking back and forth with their chamber director up there. They were kind of in a hold pattern, we were kind of in a hold pattern. You know, we weren't sure which way we were gonna lean, and then we talked, and they're having it, so we are only gonna have ours from 5 to 7. They are gonna have theirs, I think, still from 5 to 8. They're still gonna have their fireworks, they're gonna still have their parade.
The same night.
Same night, yeah, so, and we did see last year, we saw kind of a drop off after that 7:30 hour time, because people are leaving to go up to Owine to watch their parade and their fireworks, so.
So our activities will all be along First Street, but we're
Along
closing
First
off
Street,
Second
we're closing
Avenue.
up Second because
from
of,
First to Second, just
the
because of
horses.
traffic pattern and stuff.
and I do know, the farmer's market usually has the indoor market at Living Water Church. They will not be having that this year. So it will be solely, everything will be right on First Street.
I'll make a motion to approve having Jingle on Main
Okay, thank you.
request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Jingle and Main event. All those in favor say aye.
Okay.
Any roll call?
Yeah, we usually do one especially then.
Okay, all right, roll call then.
Callahan? Yes. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Sharp?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. No business downtown, we'll be excited about this. Wanting to bring this here. Next on the agenda is our animal restriction ordinance for a third time and final reading. And the motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance for the third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes.
I did want to pass on to Todd that we have a new animal in town. My neighbor sent me a picture of a catbird. Cat sitting up in the tree.
What is it?
Catbird, one of her black cats is up in the tree behind her house.
I'll get some elevated traps.
We're trying to avoid your traps.
Hey.
Motion did carry, so. Next on the agenda is an amendment of chapter 69, no parking, third and final reading. I need a motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance third and final time.
So moved. Second.
Okay, second, I need a roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is, to amend Article 20, additional requirements, exception, modification, and interpretations of the zoning ordinance, for a motion to receive and file and consider adopting the ordinance for the second time.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay, I have a motion and a second, may I have a roll call, please?
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next is, rezoning application for public hearing and second reading. I need a motion to file an oral and written comments and consider adopting the ordinance for the second time.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, may I have a roll call, please?
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. We do have on the agenda an option if you would like to waive the requirement of 3 considerations and do a final passage.
Have we had anybody, any council, anybody contact us on it?
It's a public know about it, I wouldn't waive it second, third reading.
Okay.
The only thing that we've received is a request to move this forward because they still want to try and start as soon as they can.
Okay,
I'd make a motion to waive the third reading.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we do have a motion to waive the third reading and pass this for a final time.
I'd remind you that this would take a supermajority, it'll take 5 affirmative votes to do this.
Roll call, please.
O'Loughlin,
No.
Hannah,
No.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
No.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda is motion to set a public hearing for November 9th, 2020 at 6:30 PM in the City Hall for adoption of FEMA floodplain ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried.
Just for a clarification, will there be a change to the flood map also, or just the approval?
I'll let Todd address that.
So the flood mat update will be on December 30th, and in order for us to stay in the National Flood Insurance Program, we have to adopt the newest FEMA guidelines, so. If we don't, that's one of the things, so after the hearing, the faster we can move this, the faster I can give it to DNR and FEMA, the better standing we're gonna be, so. It's not really, let the public, it's like either you accept it or we're out of the program. So, and we're in it, we're doing very well, so I just wanna keep on moving on that.
But they're not changing the floodplain map, are they?
There has been changes made, the maps will be, going into effect on December 30th. And if you ever wanna see it, I can actually, I might throw something out on my, webpage to show you some of the differences too, so, or if anybody has questions, come to my office.
Does it change property owners at all?
change property
Is
owners?
there property owners that are in the flood zone that weren't or taken out?
Both. There's some that are in, some that are out. It just kinda, the contours, they do a LiDAR, it's laser imaging. So it's all based on elevation. So if there's something that they've tweaked over the years, then they'll let you know.
So those property owners are notified of that?
I
If
mean,
they're in it or they're out of it?
they should know, especially if they're gonna have any type of insurance, they have to know beforehand. If you go to 500 year, you don't need insurance for 500 year. I'm not sure if FEMA notifies them as far as the addition to it. And then a lot of that would be, maybe their yard is incorporated, but their house is not. So there'd be a lot of,
But that could change their insurance stuff. They don't know about it.
well, no matter what, I mean, they change it. There's nothing that we can do as far as changing that. I can get people out of it if they can do a letter of map amendment and like showing them that they are not in the floodplain. Like, I can always contest it.
This public hearing that we're discussing does not affect who is in or out of it. This affects the language in the floodplain, insurance program. The map comes later, but the discussion that you're having here, on this ordinance has to do with the language that provides for that floodplain insurance.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just language, it's verbiage. They change a few words here and there to incorporate more things. But that'll help us with the CRS program too.
Sure.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Todd. Next on the agenda is proposed amendment to chapter 75 ATV snowmobile ordinance. And
Bonnie, I didn't get, a motion for that. Okay, I did, sorry. Turned my page.
Okay.
Sorry. I was like, wait a minute.
Am I going too fast?
No, it was the discussion after we approved it and did everything that confusing, because usually we do that before we make our motion.
That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, so I need a motion to repeal resolution 2015-86 and adopt chapter 75 ATV snowmobile ordinance as amended.
In short, what this does is open up, city streets to ATV, travel, with the exception of, instead of giving a specific map where they're allowed, it identifies places where they cannot go. And those areas are defined largely by the state DOT, or the state of Iowa rather. They cannot travel on Highway 150 except to cross the highway at a designated location. ATVs are not allowed anywhere in town on Highway 150. That has nothing to do with the city. That's out of our hands. We had to get special dispensation to allow them to cross at those three locations where they're currently connected.
Are we requiring them to do the same as golf carts to get?
So, yeah, this largely in part came from, Chief said he had people contact him and asking about this. With the golf carts now that we have in town, they're having more freedom than the ATVs. And for our department, there's just been a lot of confusion because our guys are looking at ATVs and they're looking at golf carts, and they have two different sets of rules of where they can and can't be. So, I mean, you almost have to drive around and look at your map and then look and see, what you have. This would be just a way for us to get a little bit more control on it. We haven't really had a big problem yet with ATVs. A few of them that I've actually had to talk to are not people that are using the trail. They are local people, and they just don't have the knowledge of, oh, I thought I could do this because I saw ATVs in town. So this just gives us a little bit more control over it. We can have them licensed like we do the golf carts, to where we're keeping the documentation in-house. I even suggested, even with golf carts and ATVs, that we get photographs of the ATV so we know what that ATV looks like that's registered to that person, or golf cart. So if somebody says, hey, I had a lime green ATV or a golf cart and it was doing this, well, there's only one of those in town. We can go to our folder and we can look and see who that is. It's one way for us to just get a little bit more control over the issue. If we are going to allow them both in town, it'd just be nice to have a little bit more control and availability for us to enforce the code.
So even though they're licensed by the state, but with this ordinance, they will have to come to the police department and do the same thing with the golf carts, as
Correct.
far as having it
Correct.
inspected. They'll have to make sure they're 18 years of age and have a valid driver's license to operate it. No more people on it than what seats are available. Not
Correct.
holding anybody. So they
Correct.
have the same rules that the golf carts rules were.
In part, yes.
Yeah.
For the most part, as for that, I mean, obviously, the golf carts have a little bit more safety issues that we want, because they're a lot slower moving and things, and they're, not as, quite as visible, but for the most part, yes, very similar.
Do the ATVs and UTVs both have to be licensed with the state?
Through the state, they do. Yep. And so they follow the state guidelines, and, years ago, we allowed them the trail and, this passageway through town. And you still get that, but a lot of them that we're seeing in residential areas and other places where they're not trail operators, they're just people from town. So, it's, like I said, it's not really the ones that we approved on the trails that are just passing through. It's the other ones that we just need a better way to try to control them and just police that issue.
So we'll have to have a city sticker on the back next to the one they have for their
Yep,
license
I
or
was-
something, so you guys can see it.
Yep, and I was looking through that, and, it shows that it's supposed to be what the DNR sticker is. Wherever their state sticker is, they'll have to display the same, City of Independence sticker, like the golf carts, that will have the 1 year expiration, and then apply it to that same spot. And if they ever sell that ATV, they have to notify us, so that way we can get our records changed.
Do snowmobiles have to have any of that stuff?
Snowmobiles have to be licensed through the state, through DNR. And in that ordinance, nothing's changing as far as the snowmobiles goes. It's still the same thing, it has to be on unplowed streets, et cetera. But yeah, they have to be licensed too to be operated out on the roadway.
I'd make the motion to repeal resolution 2015-86 and adopt chapter 75 ETVs snowmobile ordinance as amended.
So here's a second.
Before we vote on this, will the ATVs have to have the slow-moving vehicle sign and the flag too?
No.
They do not, okay.
I think the difference there is, and that was discussed, but it's clearly they're not a slow-moving vehicle. The golf carts having top speed that is qualified as slow.
How much enforcement can you guys do with this, with all these vehicles on the?
Well, like I said, the biggest part of it is gonna be, helping us to have a little bit more, I guess, meat in the game to be able to enforce it. I mean, a lot of it's gonna be a learning process. I mean, we still have people that just don't know. So the more that we can do once we get this program changed over and started, if it happens, is to get that out there so that way people are aware by educating them, either city website, newspaper, et cetera. And then just a period of time of our officers educating people too, because you're still gonna end up with people that don't know, but
I see tons of them around my neighborhood, and I live in the southwest of the Jackson Green Edition, and I see them all around there, and by the brush dump and that stuff. It's as if there's no map now, and no enforcement, I mean.
well, and that's why I'm saying, like, it's gonna be, those are the people that aren't just using the trail. Those are our local people that are just wanting to run around town, and they think it's just their extra vehicle to go somewhere. So, obviously, this is gonna be a municipal infraction type deal because it's under our city code. So that would be the same as, some of our other issues that we have as far as junk property, things like that go, or stray dogs. It's not a criminal thing, it's a civil thing through the city. So again, you get to that point where if you get 1 or 2 citations to somebody, people talk too, and that gets around. So, and it's a process. So if we start the process now, we're not saying it's gonna be better in 3 months. It's gonna be a process of a year or two to get the public educated and have this turn around for us.
So those people that are running around like in his neighborhood we talked about, they will now, if this passes, they will now need to be certified or recognized by the city. They need to come in and get their.
They'll have to, if they wanna pass through town and ride that ATV anywhere in the city limits of Independence, they're gonna have to call us, fill out the paperwork, have the chief do an inspection on their ATV, and give them their sticker and everything, and say, basically the blessing, they're all good to go, and they have insurance and the other things that they're supposed to have.
The same fee for the golf carts, $25 for that.
That I don't know if that's been negotiated, if it is the same fee or not, I just know that it's the same process, is it?
I think it's
Okay.
the same thing.
So, yeah, it'd be the same fee.
It needs to be renewed each December before the
Yep.
end of the calendar year.
Yep.
I think some background, if people didn't hear our previous council meetings or workshop, we've had a lot of discussion about ATVs, ATVs. And I think the conclusion is they're not gonna go away. I mean, they're not gonna disappear. So if they're gonna continue to be out there,
They will.
yeah, let's try to get a handle on them, just like we did with golf carts, give the police officer something to work with, so they gotta follow some rules. Right now, they're a loose cannon, they can do basically anything they want to. So that's kind of the background on this.
Thanks, Brian.
Any other discussion?
So if they have one warning, second time it's a ticket.
There's no real system to it saying that you have to get a warning or you have to get a ticket. It comes down to officer discretion. So there's a lot of things that could come into play. I mean, it's like you said, if that's that first person, but if I deal with somebody and I talk to him and I educate him and I see him 2 days later doing the same thing, yeah, I'm gonna issue them a citation for that. I mean, that's.
But don't all your officers have that information, know that this one got stopped, and so tomorrow he's out doing it because somebody else is on duty?
If our officers read the daily log of what's happening, they do, or we actually have a pass-on log that we can share that in there, that we dealt with somebody, or just during shift changes, normally when we discuss a lot of that stuff, so other shifts coming in know what we've dealt with.
There's probably very few that are abusing it, and abusers are really abused.
Well, and that's just it, is some of the other stuff from that is, you know, a select few are ruining it for others that, because of the abuse that's been done.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve this. May I have a roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Stark,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
No.
Motion carried. Next on the agenda, public hearing on proposed amendment to the Independence Urban Renewal Area. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication and notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. I now need a motion to hold the public hearing. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to hold the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, motion carried. We are now in public hearing.
This proposal amends our urban renewal district, our TIF district. It's the original TIF district for the city of Independence, which includes the downtown area, to add projects. One is Steve G's development of an office building, Third Avenue Northeast. And the second one is to add money to our commercial restoration rehabilitation grant program. But in order to do those two, we have to amend the urban renewal plan to allow for
say Al. The Ring Central phone has been disconnected. There's no sound to the meeting. Al, can you hear me? The phone connection has been lost. There's no sound in the Ring Central meeting. Al, can you hear me?
acknowledge the commitment of Gina Lynch for participating in the academy. That commitment reflects positively on the dedication of your city staff to provide sound, competent, and professional administration for your citizens. Thank you and the council for supporting continuing professional education. It is an honor for us to work with and provide new tools to city individuals to maintain Iowa's positions as leaders for continuing professional education in municipal administration, and it's signed by Sarah Shonrock. So the only other thing I want to add is to remind people to vote. You only have a few more days left. And I think that was all I have. Is there any of the council members that have a report or something they'd like to give at this time? Nope. Does the police department have any other information they'd like to share at this time?
Forgive me, I don't know what you guys have been told and what you haven't been told, since I'm not normally the one here, but just want to let you guys know that Officer Cornwell just returned from DARE school. So she will now be teaching DARE in our community. This came from Sheriff Wolfram years ago when he did it, when he went back to the sheriff's office. He continued to teach in Independence. We got told last year that he was no longer going to do that. So we're now taking back over the program. And like I said, she just got back from her training. So I think she's looking forward to getting in the school system a few days a week here and there and teaching the kids there.
Thank you. Anything from the fire department?
Nope.
Oh, on my building?
Not here very often, so I'll give a quick update. As Deb and I was talking earlier, so one of the houses we acquired, 1011 7th Avenue Southwest, that's basically about down now. That'll be leveled until spring. The 12 plexes are completely done and completely full. Wow, that's how, so those filled up fast. Got another application for a Skilton house. And so that'll be going in. They'll be doing the footings here in just a couple weeks. CAT program's going good. I'm kind of playing the weather right now. I got them set right now at a place where I think I can probably just scoop them up in a net. There's that many. So, biggest thing is don't feed the cats. It's hard to catch cat. If he doesn't want to go into a cage. I'm giving him sardines and tuna. But if you have a plate full of food outside of that, now you come to me.
How many have you got?
18.
So you got what? You got like 40 or
50. Yep, and that goes into the spring.
Sure.
So we'll have got a couple raccoons and a couple possums. So can't neuter
That
those.
isn't program though.
No, I can take those to Bob's house. We had another issue down at the tree dump. Somebody is doing some conventional lumber, basically like railroad ties too. So hopefully here in the spring, like to use nuisance abatement money, whatever it might be, to get those quality cameras out of the dump so we can actually see. The ADA ramps, as you guys approved, that all went great. Feldman still plans on doing the one up the road here. He's just trying to get his other stuff locked up. Hopefully we get him in before that November 15th. That's usually the cutoff. If you don't mind, I can just a couple things up at the street. So I'm a neighbor with the street department, so I just been kind of helping them just a little bit. We got Kleesner in here, has done the last of the patching. Pulled the barricades in the morning. The guys are trimming trees, finishing some small concrete jobs. Next week, they'll be doing the Independence Light and Power. We'll be hanging decorations. And so I got to go through them, check on everything. But all the guys have really stepped up, being short-staffed and stuff. Brad Esch really has stepped up and kind of shown what he can do and kind of push the guys. And I just kind of sit back and, put it on the paper if you need. Oh, it's going really well, but if you have any questions,
Thank you for helping.
yeah, feel free to call me whenever you guys want. So, all right.
Do you have anything else to add?
Yes, last week I finished the annual financial report, so I'll be getting that in the paper, and I will bring it to you guys too. I just don't need approval or anything before I submit it, so I want to get that sent off to the paper to meet their posting deadlines, but I did get that finished. We have a couple other annual reports to start working on and finish up in the next month, and then the auditors will be here on November 16th.
What division are we compared to last year with revenues? Just ballpark.
I haven't ran anything comparable yet, and I can send out the AFR that I was working on so you guys can look at, but I think as far as anything for COVID-related deficiencies, we won't see those yet. Probably for about another year. Will we even get a hint of any of what that's going to look like for us? So.
I mean, revenues decreased significantly for hotel motel and then road use.
We have local option sales tax is projected to be okay. The catch is that November is the correction month, so everything's on hold waiting for November's adjustment. We'll have a much better feel for it once that comes across. Hotel motel is down, no question. I mean, significantly down. Road use tax is actually up, and I think it has to do with new car sales. The tax there as opposed to just the gas tax. But again, we're kind of waiting for that next shoe to drop and see what that does. But right now, as of 2 weeks ago, cautiously optimistic on where we're at with those two. All of our staff are waiting impatiently for that local option sales tax because that is our biggest capital improvement program funding source. As soon as we get a handle on that, we'll start getting some of those things taken care of. But we just want to make sure we're not one of the 11 counties that are going to see a decrease in local option. What we got through the Department of Revenue was an estimate for 11 counties that were going to be down, but they wouldn't identify them. Everybody else is 0 or up. Okay, yeah, I just went on what the state sent out, I don't know, 6 weeks ago. Yeah. So we'll let you know as soon as we get that adjustment. We'll have a much better feel after that November correction. And the November correction is an annual event, so it's not a new thing for us. They just make their adjustments to the estimates in November. So.
Okay. I know they got this weekend, but is there a timeline that we can policy for citizens when they're active, when the test trial period is over, and when the actual?
Once the cameras are active, there is a 30-day window where we do warnings. That as soon as I get, well, I won't do anything before we get the signs up at the entrance of the community. And those came in today, so I think those are going up this week. There was a question that Brian had brought up this morning about one of the cameras, whether they have the box up or if they actually have the camera in there, and we're just confirming that. So there's a couple of little housekeeping things before I give you here's your official start date. We will post it as soon as we have confirmation that everything's a go, and try and set that as a hard date. Yes.
And
it's not back yet. It went down to have everything installed and everything else. We took it down there, and we haven't got it back yet. So they're obviously still working on it, and I don't have a timeline now.
Mentioned the library's hours changes.
Yeah, there has been a change in the library hours. This week they are noon to 6, I believe. And that has to do with staffing levels so that they can accommodate, keep the library open. So for this week, noon to 6, and they'll be updating that, I'm sure, come this weekend if they can change that. They are short of staff. They're short of staff, and so because of the staffing issue right now, they're going to be staying open as much as they can, but the noon to 6 is what they're able to provide. Very quickly, I wanted to acknowledge David Stoddard was a tremendous friend of the city. He granted the city an easement for putting in a future trail and retaining wall along the edge of his property on Bland and 6th Avenue as we move forward. We don't have the funding for it right now, but his generosity has really made it possible for us to start looking at future trail projects down there and made them viable. And so I wanted to publicly acknowledge David's willingness to work with the city and the fire department for helping out. They did dress up our lumber here on the dais, so it looks much more professional. And I wanted to publicly thank Dick and his guys for helping out with that last week. So that's all I have.
Okay, next on the agenda is a possible closed session for Iowa Code 21.5, 1 parentheses, I parentheses, to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation and that individual's request for closed session. So first I need to verify with the city attorney the ability to legally enter into a closed session.
Matt, do we have a request? Your Honor, we have a written request from the city manager regarding this matter. It also falls squarely within the scope of Iowa Code Section 21.51I because of the nature of the request. I have the specifics of that request, and it's my legal opinion that the city council may go into closed session legally and lawfully.
Okay. Well, we don't need a motion or anything to that. We just need to.
I think a motion. We go
A roll call vote.
Second.
Motion and second. Thank you. We need a roll call on that?
Yes.
Yes. Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. So we will be going into closed session, so we'll need to clear out the room.
I also asked that if anybody has recording devices to please take those with you as well.
John.
Not mentioning any names.